The first Faderhead album came out in 2006, and by the end of 2026, I will have released 12 full albums. So I decided that for every month of this year, I will explain the concepts and lyrics behind one of the 12 albums. Today, my 7th album, Atoms and Emptiness, which came out on January 24, 2014. This album was written and released in a time when I was not doing well in any area of life. I had just broken up with the woman I was thinking of marrying. I drank too much, took too many drugs, and had almost no close friends, if any at all. We also had just played our 3rd US tour in 3 years, and we were about to go on tour with Aesthetic Perfection in Europe.
Who cares?
So, unlike today, the whole clubs touring party thing was a very large part of my identity, and this created a loop with the booze and the drugs that really didn't make things better. Quite the opposite, actually.
Stand up!
Song number 1, Stand Up. This was the opener and the first single, and many people think that it is a political song or a social commentary, but it really is me trying to motivate myself to basically pull myself out of the swamp of my life by my own hair, like Baron von Münchhausen. And it's me saying, get up, look around you. Is there anyone at all standing with you? The machine in this song is actually not the larger political system, but the music business, and especially the goth scene promoters, bookers, festival, which in my view back then had very crusty old structures and were doing things in ways that were so incredibly backwards that I wanted to, just to burn it all down. Not sure if it had changed much. The first verse is about why so many musicians have alcohol and drug problems. The line, pure hell forces action again, means the realities of being a musician make it hard to not want to escape, and the action here would be drinking. Every hour kills what could have been is a little foreshadowing to the second song on the album, but it's also a recognition of the extreme boredom for weeks in confined spaces like tour buses or small backstage rooms, often with people you don't want to be around, which is basically what touring is like. No one cares, so in nothing we trust. This is me referring to the extreme lack of accountability, reliability, and trustworthiness that 99% of people in the music business show. It was also one of the reasons why I dislike most musicians, simply because they rarely ever do what they say they will do. And, I have to give shout outs to everyone who was and is playing live with me or who did collabs with me, things like that. They are and always have been the most reliable, punctual, and trustworthy people that I have met in the music business in my life, because otherwise I would have, cut ties with them really quickly. Musically, the main synth riff is quite happy and, euphoric sounding, because that is supposed to symbolize what it felt like to be on stage high on cocaine and vodka, compared to the rest of the stuff happening around the stage time in the background. We shot a music video for the song featuring the same actress that you know from the Black Friday short movie, and also later she appears again in the Too Dead for Life video. The stand-up clip is about a girl that starts seeing androids and robots behind the human faces of everyone around her. It's a bit of an homage to John Carpenter's They Live, but she isn't wearing sunglasses because I am wearing the sunglasses. Number 2, Every Hour Kills. This is a song about communicating emotions via text messages or emails. I'm not sure if people have become smarter these days, but back then I had been in a long distance relationship with a lot of communication via text message, which was always problematic. Now don't get me wrong, the real problem was me being fucked up, but the text communication style did not help at all. Back then, the iPhone had only been around for a few years, and while it was super helpful to stay in touch with someone who wasn't in the same country, it also made some things more difficult to understand and to communicate. The distorted bass line that opens the song was actually made by my friend Daniel Meyer from How Job Covenant, who visited me in my studio and just fucked around with a synth. I recorded it and used it as the basis for this song. From today's perspective, this song is not dark and sad enough, and I really wish I had been a better singer back then. Despite that, we played the song live for quite a while, and it always did well. Number 3, Champagne and Real Pain. This is a very obvious song about me cutting ties with people who were stabbing me in the back or who were in other ways detrimental to my life. Back then, one of the ways in which I was trying to regain some control of my life was by getting rid of very negative, dramatic, problematic people, or people who were not conducive to how I saw my future evolving. Hide from pretentious smiling deep in my rocket silo. This is what the line, "hide from pretentious smiling deep in my rocket silo," is about. At first, one might just think, that's just a cool rhyme, but a rocket silo is actually where the rocket, at the bottom, where the rocket sits before it takes off. And in my view, I was at the bottom. I was not happy with where I was. And I wanted to better myself and, take off to somewhere else, which I could not do with many of the people around me, so they had to go. I hear the stream of endless news to me. We play the song live at many of the non-festival shows because over the years, a surprisingly large amount of people have told me that they like the song. And interestingly, many non-native speakers of English seem to miss the whole point of the wordplay because they just don't know the meaning of the word sham. And they think it's just me doing, a clever switch of champagne and sham friends. But in reality, sham is a trick, a hoax, a cheap illusion. So the sham friends are the fake friends who want to see you fail or who even actively contribute to your failures. Number 4, Atoms and Emptiness. This is the title song and still one of my favorite songs on the album, even though I wish my singing was much, much, much better. It's a song about fighting with your partner and being unable to understand their point of view, which was definitely something that I was unable to do for maybe, the first 45 years of my life. A long time. And the line, "and sometimes it's wrong to be right," in the chorus, that references that. And sometimes it's wrong to be right. Of course, when you're incapable of understanding someone else's point of view, you think you're right, which is of course wrong, and it always or often leads to conflict. I won't look for you, 'cause there's nothing to find. The following line, "won't look for you 'cause there's nothing to find," refers to the long distance relationship problems again, because if the partner you're fighting with isn't physically present, it creates two different issues. Number one, it creates more emotional distance. And number two, it also means the partner is often not reachable when you want the connection that would make understanding their point of view easier. I really like the ending part where I sing, "I am the last one left, I'll die on the floor, I ran through the night to find you." This is written from my perspective, where I felt totally alone and exhausted with, nowhere to go but lie down and do nothing. The song and the album title, Atoms and Emptiness, does not appear in the lyrics at all, but I chose it for the juxtaposition of atoms, which are the smallest form of substance, and the opposite, which is emptiness, which is nothing. And I remember saying back then that if there was even, the smallest bit of love left, it would erase the emptiness, which would explain the title.
Is this how the world ends? Will we just be strangers again?
Unfortunately, there wasn't, and to be clear, that was largely my own fault. Number 5, When the Freaks Come Out. This is probably the most popular song on the Atoms and Emptiness album. And it's a straight club banger with very to the point club lyrics.
My bass plays when the freaks come out. When the freaks come out.
My bass plays when the freaks come out is the kind of simple yet true type of hook that makes the song work.
I blast my kick drum to a casket.
The music video was a collection of tour scenes, and it is still one of my favorite videos we ever did. It's simple, it didn't cost anything except my time to edit it, and it fits the message of the song perfectly. That's probably why it's still one of the more popular videos on my YouTube channel, even though it's 12 years old. To me, it's especially enjoyable to rewatch it because back then I decided to cut in some of the people who have been supporting me throughout the years, like René Junge, Eric Burton, Thomas Haag, many others. So it's always a trip back to a different time and, small memories of people who've been friends with me.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
We still play the song live at almost every show because it's a big crowd favorite and gets one of the best responses every time. Number 6, Someone Else's Dream. This is a straight future pop song about the grass always being greener on the other side, meaning everyone wants something that they don't have and that they see someone else having.
I'll always be happy in the place where I'm not.
As we see more than ever today, our constant comparison to other people is one of the largest sources of, unhappiness and discontent in our life. And that's why I chose the line, I'll always be happy in the place where I'm not, to be the opening of the song.
You don't know the way. You don't know the way.
The chorus lyric, "You don't know the way," refers to the fact that anyone who envies someone else's life or success usually does not understand how much and what it has cost the other person to be in the place they are in. And also, they usually do not understand that that other person usually also wants to be someplace else too. The song has a trancey stab, which starts at, 2:15, that the Lord Marco Visconti came up with. And also the song goes halftime at 3:30, something like that, which is very unusual for 4 to the floor trancey future pop songs. And actually, I think it's very cool and creates a unique energy shift.
You don't know the way.
The old saying, comparison is a thief of joy, is very appropriate for this song, but in very few cases, comparison can also function as a motivator because it gives you the opportunity to see how well you measure up, in certain aspects of whatever you are comparing at that point. Of course, that's only helpful if you are aware of the situation and use it as positive fuel instead of negative energy. Because if it creates negative energy, then as I sing in verse 2, nothing else is here, the emptiness of day.
Nothing else is here. The emptiness of day. Emptiness of day.
funny how I wrote it back then, but didn't understand it at all deep down inside for my everyday life. Number 7, I Forget. This is me psychoanalyzing my many meaningless one-night stands throughout my life. It's something that people see as a possible perk of being a famous musician, but while it might seem like that, it really isn't. I actually remember a situation after a show in Poland where I was last to join the other bands in the hotel lobby, and we all agreed that the groupie sex was really not worth it at all. It was kind of a funny situation. Number 8, You Can't Resist. This song was written as a festival song for Resistance Festival at Corporation in Sheffield in the UK. At that point, both the venue itself as well as the festival were my favorite in the world, and I always enjoyed being there.
You can't resist.
The UK crowd was just seemingly less serious and more interested in having fun than the Germans. Of course, you always had the local scenesters who talk shit about me all the time while, their Nothing projects played one show in 5 years and released one EP that nobody cared about. So if you read the internet, you'd think that nobody liked our music. Yet when we played in the UK, the clubs were full and people were partying.
All the sounds, the light, the lake. You can't resist the crowd, the noise for days.
By the way, to any young artists, at this point, I am convinced that you are not going to succeed if local bands don't talk shit about you. Because musicians are really some of the most envious and, sad, backstabbing humans I can think of. Most musicians really hate everyone else. It's the opposite of what they say online. Of course, all of this has really nothing to do with You Can't Resist, because that was just a straight up club song written for the festival, and I still like it today. Number 9, Through This Pain You Heal. This is one of the songs that I don't expect many people to like or understand, which is why it's one of the last songs on the album.
I disrespect you, dissect you, reject you. The second you start to speak.
That's an old record label wisdom, by the way. You put the song that the artist, or the songs that the artist writes for themselves, in the back of the album if they are not hits, because most people won't even get to the end of the album, so they won't be bothered by less commercial or less catchy songs.
You celebrate the world's mistakes. 'Cause you're so idle, you can't fail.
The song itself is about me trying to accept my, current state of life back then, and the lyrics seem to be me talking to or about someone else, but I'm really talking to myself, and I'm basically saying, here's everything that's wrong with you and why you are in the situation that you are in right now.
I can't heal you from the pain.
The chorus also acknowledges that pushing away the pain with drugs and alcohol doesn't make it go away. Only the acceptance of the pain and the ability to exist with it will be the first step to healing. Interestingly, I wrote this before I started seeing a therapist, so I guess that was the time when, the last straw broke the camel's back, or however you say that. And when I listen to the song now, the chorus reminds me a little bit of Alice in Chains, even though I don't remember if they were an influence during that time. But it would totally fit with the topic of the song. Number 10, Anti-Paradise. This is another vibe track about being in a relationship where trust has eroded. And the current fight is not about the current situation or the current problem, but about everything that went wrong in the years before. Everyone knows the situation.
I'm not a saint, but you knew that before. Sometimes I feel how you hate it.
Interestingly, today I'm very aware of this, but back then, with the regular hangover moods, I was totally unable to, understand this or get it right. And without remembering any details, I'm pretty sure that most of the problems could have been avoided if I had been sober and less hungover more often. "11. My Heart is Safe." This is the closing song on the album, and it's a song I wrote when my relationship had ended and I tried to forget everything about it.
I've taken one more walk to Angel Station. I took another walk past Leicester Square.
It's always been a conviction of mine that when you end a relationship, it's best to remove the person and everything around the person from your life completely. People always find that harsh, but I find it much more helpful to not be constantly reminded of what was, because there's no point in rehashing things anymore.
I moved from London straight to New York City to bury me inside the endless crowd.
At that point, I had also really had enough of investing any emotions in other humans, which is what prompted me to write the line, "When my heart is dead, then my heart is safe."
I see through you, forgot I knew you. 'Cause when my heart is dead, then my heart is safe.
From today's point of view, it's very questionable if that is true or helpful, but it's what I wrote when I was tired of feeling terrible. The production of the song is very airy and in an acoustic pop style that I would not choose today. I don't remember why I decided to do it like that. Maybe I subconsciously wanted to make the song sound like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I don't remember. But it would explain, the uplifting choir vocals in the end. Not many of my songs still make me emotional when I listen to them, but this one definitely does. Overall, I'd consider Atoms and Emptiness to be one of my better albums, although the production is very thin and lacks taste, especially in many of the lead synth choices. I really don't know what I was thinking there, but I'm pretty sure almost no one except a few musicians or producers really noticed. Lyrically, I'm very happy with most of the songs because even simple club tracks like When the Freaks Come Out are on point. And some of the other songs have very personal meaning and lyrical lines that I can be proud of, even more than 12 years later. The way things were going back then was just not sustainable, both on a personal and a music career level. I had also released either an album or an EP every year since 2006. So after this one, I decided that I needed to take a break and find a therapist and start to get my mental health sorted out, which was probably the best decision I ever made. And I have to give thanks to my friend Olaf for the recommendation and to my therapist Simone for helping me climb out of the hole I had dug myself into, basically. Atoms and Emptiness is the acoustic equivalent of that hole that I had myself dug into. I hope you enjoyed this track by track commentary, and if you did, you can also watch the other ones for my other albums.